witnessing a seismic shift in politics in Virginia. The Commonwealth and the country watching tonight as the results roll in.
It looks like the Commonwealth is turning from blue to red, and there are big implications here, not just in Virginia, but nationwide. The race at the top of the ticket still too close to call. No winner declared yet as the race gets tighter. Right now, Republican Glenn Youngkin leads Democrat Terry McAuliffe 51 to 47%.
13 News Now is team coverage. Evan Watson is following the McAuliffe camp in Tyson's Corner. But first, we start with Allison Basil. She's in Chantilly, where Youngkin and his team are watching those results. Allison, they have to be happy.
David, Nicole, I have to tell you, the energy in here, it's exciting, it's contagious, and actually it's really the same energy that's been going on in this ballroom ever since votes started rolling in and ever since the doors opened here at Glenn Youngkin's watch party. Now, all eyes in this ballroom are glued to the TVs behind me, and I'm going to do my best to show you what's going on here. It's a little packed on the risers. I'm going to step out of the way, but the crowd, they cheer every time they see themselves on the news coverage, and they even got crazier during Terry McAuliffe's small speech earlier. Now, Youngkin entered this race a business executive with no candidate experience, but we've talked with many supporters and even U.S. Representative Rob Whitman, who say they think he's a personable guy that will take Virginia to the next level. Well, we have to wait a little bit longer to see if he'll do just that. His press team got on stage just a few minutes ago to say the count continues.
We are going to celebrate tonight. So thank you all for what you're doing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being with Glenn with the campaign. We are going to celebrate electing the next governor of Virginia tonight.
And celebrate they are, and they have been. We've got a lot of loud music going on. The cheers keep on coming, so we are going to see how these votes continue to roll in and how long this party goes on. David, Nicole.
All right, Allison, thank you so much. At this hour, the Democratic ticket is underwater. Terry McAuliffe trailing Glenn Youngkin for governor. Hala Ayala is behind as well for the lieutenant governor, and Mark Herring running for re-election as attorney general in a battle as well. McAuliffe spent the last day on the campaign trail in Northern Virginia, stopping in Falls Church this afternoon. Tonight, his camp is in Tyson's Corner, and Evan Watson is there now. And Evan, I'm guessing a decidedly different mood.
I'm in Tyson's Corner, where Democratic candidate for governor Terry McAuliffe just spoke to supporters. McAuliffe didn't concede just yet, saying there's still votes to be counted, but he didn't give a particularly confident speech either, thanking his family and telling supporters and Democratic staff members they need to continue the fight for policies and values that the Democrats believe in. Many of the supporters have said their goodbyes and already left their evening as of this point. The latest sign that it's all but over, with Republican candidates sweeping the top state leadership positions in Virginia. Here's what McAuliffe told the group just a few minutes ago.
So we still got a lot of votes to count. We got about 18% of the vote out, so we're going to continue to count the votes because every single Virginian deserves to have their vote counted.
Early election results show McAuliffe didn't retain the majorities that President Joe Biden won in certain areas of the state last year, including in Virginia Beach. There are still outstanding votes in important Democratic majority areas, but most people here don't expect that to be enough to flip the results of this election. Candidates Hala Ayala and Mark Herring were expected to show up and speak here tonight, but they never arrived. Reporting in Tyson's Corner, Evan Watson for 13 News Now.
All right, Evan, thank you. It's been a long road to Election Day for both candidates, and we know there's a lot of information to get through here.
Mike Gooding and 13 News Now political analyst Quentin Kidd are here to break down the results we're seeing so far in the governor's race and what they mean moving forward. Hey, guys.
Guys, thank you so much. Quentin, you've been watching this for months and months, as I have. Back in May or June, we had a well-known name who'd been governor before and a guy nobody had ever heard of. Would you have bet then that it would turn out as it appears to be turning out here tonight?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, Glenn Youngkin was a blank slate. And Terry McAuliffe was a known quantity. When Terry McAuliffe left office, he was very popular as former governor. Virginia had been voting Democratic for several years in the Trump era by big numbers. So probably very few people except, Glenn Youngkin's core family members would have predicted this.
But we had a snapshot of it based upon the excellent polling that the Wasson Center has done from late summer and then through Labor Day and up until just last week that showed the gap narrowing and narrowing and narrowing.
Yep.
And we could have predicted that if you'd taken a poll today, it would, so the lines were getting close. Do you got any theories as to why?
Yeah, the trend lines would have crossed if you kept our trend lines going out. What we were showing was that Glenn Youngkin was winning among independents, and he was winning in Central Virginia, and he was cutting margins in Hampton Roads and Northern Virginia. And so that's essentially why he won tonight. I know it's not official yet, but it looks as good as done.
Your poll last week had a very enlightening question having to do with the enthusiasm gap.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit.
Republicans had a 15-point enthusiasm over Democrats in our last poll, which we put out a week before Election Day, and you sure see it. You saw it in Election Day. You saw it in the last week of these rallies. And I think we're seeing the results of it tonight.
And the question is why? I mean, it's been since 2009. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think Republicans, in some ways, Republican voters have kind of been in a desert in Virginia for the last, half decade. And they got a candidate they're excited about. They got a set of issues that they could galvanize around. Donald Trump isn't there to sort of drag them down in some ways and excite Democrats. I think it's a perfect storm for Republicans right now.
We have seen this sort of thing before in Virginia. 2009 was the last time. Bob McDonnell, it was a sweep. Bob McDonnell elected governor, Bill Bolling elected lieutenant governor, and Ken Cuccinelli elected attorney general.
Yeah.
Since then, crickets.
Right, and when Republicans win, they win big, and they make a statement about it. Right, 2009 was pretty much a statement. Tonight will be a statement because, look, Republicans are likely to be taking back the House of Delegates. They will have won all 3 statewide races. And so, the pendulum swings in Virginia. 2013 was the only election where that normal pendulum swing didn't work the way it normally does. A Democrat was elected president last year. Virginia usually snaps back the other way. 2013, it didn't do that. People thought maybe that pattern had broken. Not so.
Winning is one thing, governing is another. As Ralph Northam found out in the first year of his governorship, there's unexpected things that you don't see, bumps in the road.
Sure. Well, and particularly for Glenn Youngkin, he's going to have to learn. I mean, look, this is not a guy who spent his time in politics. He spent his time in business. He's going to have to learn how, how Richmond works, how state government works. Terry McAuliffe had to do the same thing when he was elected governor in 2013.
I received some tweets and also some emails, and I saw some folks over the weekend at Tailgate at ODU football, big Democratic check writers. They were very disappointed in the race that Terry McAuliffe ran. They thought that he'd run out of gas very early on.
Yeah.
Did you sense that? Did you sense that he lacked fire in the belly?
Say what you want about critical race theory as the sort of theme that Republicans organize their campaign around, especially late in the day. Terry McAuliffe organized his campaign around Donald Trump, Glenn Youngkin being Donald Trump, and then in the last few days of the election said, well, no, this is really about Virginia issues. But he didn't talk about Virginia issues very much, and so I think that there wasn't a clear message like there was on the Republican side, and I think a lot of voters tonight are rewarding Republicans and penalizing Democrats for that.
And just quickly, you could say that he was undisciplined in the very loose remark about parents and education.
Certainly. The biggest gaffe of this cycle, that comment at that debate about parents shouldn't be responsible or shouldn't have any role in their kids' education.
Okay, well, sit tight. We'll hear some more from you in just a little bit. Thank you, Quentin Kidd. Back to you, Nicole and David.